Meet the Elofs. 5 years ago, they adopted a man they'd never met, who writes to them from a prison cell in Israel.
My dearest Nick and Mary, I'm very glad to hear from you so soon. About the next parole hearing, I don't know what will happen. We've passed a long time in a very bad, cruel condition. We will see what the U.S. is going to do with Iraq, if they'll go to war.
The man they adopted is Mordecai Vanunu, jailed as a traitor. He spent 11 years in solitary confinement.
He was buried alive. He was shut up in a 6-by-9-foot cell. No windows, so he couldn't see outside. Even when he exercised, there was a canvas around him when he was out walking.
He has spent more time in isolation in a prison in the Western world than any other human being. It was that bad. His condition was that bad. And that's what really moved us to adopt him. How can a country treat a human being that way?
Vanunu moved to Israel as a child with his family from Morocco. He served in the Israeli army, studied philosophy, and found work at Dimona. This mysterious complex in the Negev desert employed thousands of people, all sworn to secrecy. For years, Israel called it a textile factory, never admitting its true purpose, making plutonium for bombs. Vanunu's dissent over government policies was noted. He was given a warning and decided to leave. But not without the evidence which would change history. Today, his are still the only photographs ever seen of the inside of Israel's nuclear bomb factory. It's 16 years since Sunday Times journalist Peter Haunem heard rumors that an Israeli whistleblower was offering proof of what the world had long suspected.
Here was someone who'd said he'd worked right inside the plutonium separation plant, helping to fabricate atomic weapons, who had taken photographs of the machinery, and who had lots of information about how much material was being processed and so on, and therefore he was potentially going to be able to provide incontrovertible evidence that Israel had a very advanced program.
Haunem flew to meet Vanunu, who is now a Christian living in Australia. He was brought to England. He was hidden in a country hotel and smuggled into the paper's offices in the boot of a car while they checked his story. But Israeli intelligence agents, caught here on Wapping's security cameras, were onto him. They were waiting to strike. It took weeks for the Sunday Times to go to press with their scoop. When they finally did, on October the 5th, 1986, Vanunu had vanished. He'd met an American woman in Leicester Square who seemed to like him. He was vulnerable and afraid. When she suggested he'd be safer with her in Rome, he fell for it. It was a classic honey trap. Once in Rome, the full weight of Israel's wrath kicked in. Vanunu was overpowered, assaulted, and drugged. He'd been kidnapped and smuggled back to Israel by boat, unconscious. For weeks no one knew where he was. Eventually the Israelis brought Vanunu to court for a secret trial. They now admitted they had him, but still no one knew how he'd got there. His kidnap, an illegal act on foreign soil, was kept secret. Somehow Vanunu found a pen and solved the mystery.